this is an image that I took from my most recent session. This is straight out of camera in Lightroom. I'm going to get to the ACR stuff in just a minute. I don't have these presets in ACR because my ACR is all messed up and I can't put any presets in there right now because I can't find the folder for them. So let me get to... Okay, I'm going to show you real quick. I have all the Mastin stuff, or a lot of them, and I love the way the Fuji looks on people's stuff. But whenever I use it on mine, it looks like that. It looks kind of crummy, and if I pull the exposure up for their skin, like, why does their skin look like that? And it just looks yuck to me. It just does not play well with my images. So I was so excited when I found the Modern Market ones because it does the same effect that I was kind of going for with the Mastin stuff, only way prettier. Here is one of my favorites from the film collection, and look at that right out of the gate. Like, that's almost deliverable. So there's a whole bunch of different ones in this collection, like this number 2. Okay, give my computer a second. It doesn't like a lot of programs. That would be perfect for like fall photos in a field or something. Here's another cool minty one with a lot more contrast. So then the juniper ones, those are down here. And this is one of my favorites that I use a lot. These first 3, I think, are basically the same, but different degrees of like, holy cow, that's super bright. Like, I really like this one too, and sometimes I'll do that and then bring down the exposure back down to earth, and then obviously you have to adjust for white balance and all that good stuff. They're super green because we're under trees, and this is not gonna be perfect. I'm literally like soaking in my tub right now. I'm making this video for you, waiting for my kids to stop screaming and go to sleep. So you can kind of see as I go through what a lot of them look like. They're only $50, so honestly, if you like buy this set and only use like 4 or 5 of them, it's worth it. And I use different ones for different settings. Like, I would find that like one of the ones I used in this spot didn't play nicely with one in this spot. You know, they were different. Oh, that poor little girl's face. Okay, so what were we on? We were on this one. So anyway, so that's some of the juniper ones, but that first one is my main one for greens. Here's some of the Lush. Let's see, and a lot of these, like, they make things super duper bright, so you just have to pull down the exposure on almost all of them. Yeah, that has a lot of, doesn't have enough contrast for me. Or something's funky. Oh, the shadows. Pull that back up. Anyway, that's kind of pretty. Not finished, obviously, but anyway, so Lush is good too. And then if we want to work on greens, this is the same thing you're gonna do in ACR, but I'll show it to you here anyway. So we'll work on greens. This one's already plus 12, but I like to do like way over here. Usually somewhere in the 50s I'll do it, and then luminance, taking it lighter, desaturating it, that gives you a good minty color. It's not a ton of greens in this picture. I suppose I could have picked a better one. Let's try this one. Let's try that guy. Let's see. Let's go back to the juniper one because I like that better. Juniper number 1. Maybe we could go to, there we go. All right, I'm not even gonna fix my white balance, just pretend they don't look like that. So already, okay, this is what they've done with the greens over here. They're up high, but they plus up the saturation, so we're getting this like crazy green over here. So I'm gonna pull that down. And we've got some very pretty minty color greens. And then all the way down here in camera calibration, we have this green primary, which is going to help in all of your pictures if you just, boop, look at that, all the mint. So I usually do around like 45 or 50, and if you have a ton of green and it's really powerful and dark, you can reduce the saturation. For dark stuff up here also, increasing luminance will make it nice and light and minty. The only thing that's tough about this is it plays with them a little bit because you're doing it in the raw processing, so it's for the whole image. But if you do it overall, like, let's see, make them a little bit warmer. I think they're good on magenta, but what I need to do is come down here and change the highlights, to somewhere in like a skin color range. And then I'm going to change the saturation to a whole bunch to try to make their skin look nice. Look how that makes their skin super nice. And it didn't change a whole lot of our stuff. We still have pretty minty greens. They got a little more yellow because a lot of the highlight was green. So we can kind of come over here to yellow and make the yellows more green. But again, that's going to change their skin a little bit. We can desaturate that some. We can lighten it. Bring the luminance down a whole bunch. Something like that, maybe. If you're really trying to get pretty greens in there, you bring the luminance down in the green a little. So I'm just playing at this point. But anyway, so their skin looks fine-ish to me right now because I can warm that up in Photoshop. But I'm trying to do, like, I've been trying to do as much as I can in raw processing so that I can sync. Like, if I get this the way I want it, then I can sync it with all the ones that I shot in that scene. So now let me show you the next thing. So if I want to make a preset in, what's it called, ACR, we're gonna not edit in Photoshop. Okay, pardon my brain farts, holy cow. Okay, I'm gonna export this to Lightroom TIFFs for this family. It already knows where to go. See, I export them as TIFFs so I can reopen them in ACR if I want. But when I reopen them in ACR, they will have the same settings. But I want to change the file name, rename to test image. Okay, so then after that exports, if it ever decides to export. Sorry, there's not like a time lapse. There we go. Okay. All right, so we're gonna come over to Baker Family, Lightroom TIFFs, test image. Here we are in Bridge. I'm gonna open with Camera Raw. And when I do that, we are here and hold up. Why is none of this changed? Oof. Maybe, hold on. Okay. Back up 1 second. Oops. Maybe we need to be saving this as original. Let's try that. See what happens with that. It's been a minute since I've done this. I've been trying to use Lightroom lately just because when I try to zoom in, I only can get that weird little box thing and see super pixely, like, versions of their face. Like, that's like 1,000. I mean, I guess that's 100%. It says down here, maybe. But I just don't like that. Anyway, here's this one. Okay, we have this stuff right here, so we know that that one is changed. So we're going to open that in Camera Raw, and that should have our settings. attached to it. The raw files, the .nef or .cr2, when you save them as that raw file, it will still have all this data attached to it in like an XMP sidecar file. So these are all the settings that we did in Lightroom with that preset. And one thing about these presets is they're supposed to be one click, so they have a lot of sharpening in them. Like you're supposed to just like look at this one, 116. Damian Simon says 0, 25 max sharpening in raw processing, but I like to put it down to 0. And I always like to do my luminance at around 23 for every image, no matter what. So anyway, so we have our settings here. We've got curves. I don't think there was anything on curves in that setting. We've got the detail settings that I just changed. We've got the HSL settings. See, here's our greens where we pulled down the saturation. Here's the hue where we pushed it way up here to like turquoise. Here's the greens where we pushed the luminance way up, brought down the yellows. And then this is the split toning where we saturated the highlights a little more with skin color. You can see if you keep pushing that up how much more and more saturated their skin gets. It saturates the background too, and you kind of lose some of that minty color, but you can get that back in Photoshop with just regular HSL. Like if you get everything kind of overall the way you want it, and you just want a little bit more mint, I'll do that in just a second. So over here under the camera calibration is where you'll find the green primary. This is where we set it in Lightroom. This little guy is the presets. All of these ones are presets that I hand transferred with a file from Lightroom over here and saved them. And I named them, and it did funny things when I put the numbers like this. I don't know why. So anyway, so we're over here in presets. We go to this little menu, and we're going to hit Save Settings. And it's going to say, do you want to save all these settings? And I'm going to say, yes. Save. If there's anything that you don't want it to save, like maybe white balance settings or something, I don't remember if that was checked or not, but you know, maybe you want your white balance to be whatever it was that you put it in camera, so you leave that off of your preset so it doesn't mess with your white balance automatically. Anyway, so we're going to name this Juniper 1 and save it. And then we have a preset named Juniper 1 down here that we can use that we have copied from Lightroom. See, here's another time I tried to try Modern Market and name it again, where actually these are a second set that I did where I took off the sharpening. That's what I did because I don't like having that sharpening on there automatically because I forget to take it off and then my images look like poo. So we have that, and now I'm going to open this in Photoshop. Because my computer lets me. It's been having a tough time lately running a bunch of programs at once. Hopefully it comes up. Well, I did not want to do that. What are you? Save changes. I don't think so. Where's cancel? What's going on? I'm really sorry. This video would have been a lot better if my computer were in a little bit better shape. But as it stands, it's kind of mad at me right now. Okay, that goes. I was hoping not to make this last forever so that it would load sometime this century to like Facebook or something. Okay, so what we want to do here in greens is a little more towards blue. That's not doing a whole lot, so we're gonna go in here and make things a little more cyan and a little more green. And a little more of that. And I'm gonna decrease this to like 80. mask it off with them because I don't want them to be cyan. And this is just super loose. Like, wow. See, okay, so I did all that, and now look how magenta they are when I mask them back off. That's pretty crazy. Anyway, then I would go in and fix their skin. But the greens still are not like super minty. If you want to get that real cool look like this, you have to really go down on the saturation. But then you have to do it equally on the people. Like if I were going to do that, I would get the people how I want them. And I'm literally just doing this one-handed really terribly on my laptop, so pardon the horrible masking. But I would go back and I would do this super big and put it on like 10 or 15%. And I would mask it back on them so that they would match it. See how that already looks a little bit better? I honestly probably would not even do more than that. If their skin was the right color right now, that would look good. And I would call it a day. You can even, you know, if that's a little bit much, maybe do 60% of that. Still nice and minty, not super saturated. Anyway, so that's kind of how I play with my greens, and also how to make a preset in ACR, but you can buy the Modern Market ones for ACR right now. I did all those before you could buy them for ACR, and then I bought them for ACR and had a bunch of issues trying to install them. So I think I'm going to try to stop this recording, and I hope you have a great night.